Jeff, you guys did have some chunk plays in the first quarter in that game. How encouraging was that to see some of those, and how do you build on that?
Yeah, we needed that, and we've talked a lot about it, but had to break through and have it, and we did there in the first quarter.
Jesse, front line.
Jeff, you talked about it a little bit after the game, but I wanted to ask you about your receiving group. Obviously, some big plays in the first quarter, a little slower after that. What did you see after watching the film from them?
A couple of different things. Really, we executed as cleanly as we have there in the first quarter and did some other really good things. Obviously, the fumble and the pick right before half, you're taking points off the board in both those scenarios where you got a chance to where if you change those two plays, which we didn't, they happen. We understand that, but you got a chance to be at 38 instead of 28 at half, which then it's got a little different feel to it. But we made some plays. Again, the drops from that standpoint, had 5 drops on the day, all at critical times because you're just trying not to waste a play. But we did make some plays, and we played really good. Early on, that's what ultimately gave us the chance to win.
You mentioned the drops there. Obviously, Jalil, big year for you guys, a lot of big games. He had a couple of those drops. What did you see from him? How do you help him kind of bounce back from that?
Yeah, he'll be able to bounce back because he's had production. He knows what he's capable of. I think he knows that he left some big yards out there. The 2 of the touch drops that were inside of like 5-6 yards from the line of scrimmage, those were actually had the ability to be really big plays. And then obviously the scramble on 3rd down, Dylan makes an unbelievable play for us there, and we got to make that play.
So 3rd row, John Hoover.
Yeah, Jeff. After a Sunday watching film and talking to the coaching staff, if you put your finger on why it's so efficient, so quick, moving so well early in the first quarter, and then things just didn't click in the last 3 quarters, especially the second half?
Yeah, really, it was the second half as much as anything. We have the coming out drive where we don't get a first down there in the second quarter, and then we go actually move the ball right down the field there in the 2-minute drive, and then end it right there on the pick, where we got a chance to finish the half with points and don't. And so that part was frustrating. Then in the second half, you come out the first 2 series, you got a drop on 2nd and 5, you got a drop on 1st and 10 in those first 2 series that we weren't able to overcome. So the mishaps on 3rd downs was incredibly frustrating. And then after, those first 2 series, the rest of it is on me getting too conservative. Everybody wants to, point the finger. Shoot, it's me being too conservative. 16 of the last 18 plays, we run the football. In the first quarter, we scored a bunch of points because we were able to throw the ball around and make some plays, and should have stuck to that a little more. Stayed aggressive instead of doing what I did, and I think we would have had a little different outcome. Thankfully, defensively, we were lights out. Our crowd was unbelievable, and we were able to get it done.
It's always better to learn from a win than a loss. What do you think you learned about yourself, clock management, play calling, whatever, second half of that game?
Yeah, especially in the 3rd quarter, stay aggressive. Even the first series of the 4th quarter, staying aggressive. And then obviously later on the last 2 series is where had the ability probably to huddle and to truly slow down and go run the football. We ran the football not effectively, but we did run it. But again, to me, I think the biggest thing that I learned is staying aggressive, and that's how we're going to play. That's how we're going to operate. That's on me. We got to throw the football. They got one more in the box, and we can block. We're not built to go run the QB 25 times, and so we got to throw the football and make plays, and that way you got a chance to go get away from them, and it's totally different.
The time management aspect of it, I know you were always going fast. Man, you guys look so good going fast early. And in the second half, does Dylan have the option if he wants to run the clock down, or is that totally on you to wanting him to go fast?
No, that's 100% on me. And again, that should show up really in the last 3 to 4 series of the game. And those last 4 series of the 4th quarter, that's when you have the ability to truly shorten the game. But again, you look at it in the first 2 series, we get a first down, have a 15-yard carry, then we have the drop on 2nd and 5, and then obviously in the second series we got the drop on 1st and 10. We're not able to overcome it. That's when Dylan actually slips on the QB draw, where he's got the ability to have this huge chunk play that nobody ever sees because, again, it's just part of playing the game, stepping in the arena. But then again, just way too conservative. And then it's my job to shorten the game there in the 4th quarter with how we're operating.
Texas Tech defensively, what do you see from them? And what are they
Yeah,
bringing to
guys
the
have
table?
been, you know, the thing that stands out the most is guys have been great in the red zone, and they've gotten better every single week. They're a group that's playing with a lot of confidence and a lot of belief right now. They've played better every single week as that group has come along and been great in the red zone.
They seem to play better at home, too.
Always have, yeah, no doubt.
Eric, Bailey?
Jeff, wanted to ask you, this time next week you'll be hitting the recruiting trail pretty hard.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about recruiting, and how important will next 2 weeks after the season be
Yeah.
for you guys?
No, it'll be huge. I think the thing that I like the most about recruiting is the relationship piece of it. I love being in high schools. I love being in the coach's office. I grew up a coach's kid running around the field house, you know, so for me it's incredibly natural and it's fun. And it's enjoyable just to see those guys putting in the effort that we're putting in every single day as they're, you know, working to win a playoff game and make a run in the state championship. So that's who I am. That's what I love to do is being on the road from a recruitment standpoint and being around high school football coaches.
Before the season started, I remember asking you about Matt Wells being on this staff. Now we're entering game 12. What has Matt meant to you, and how big has it been for you having him by your side?
Yeah, Matt, he's been awesome. Matt's been great. Again, we've got some history, so it's been great having him here, and just his lens, the way he sees it, you know, has been great for me. So incredibly appreciative of him being in the room every day.
Thanks, Jeff.
Ryan, Avery?
Yeah, Jeff, I know a lot of this goes to some of those issues that you talked about, the drops, the being conservative, and also to first and second down. But I think 9 of those third downs that y'all weren't able to convert the other day were 5 yards or less.
Yep.
Anything specific that you've noticed as you go back over not only this game but the West Virginia game that's, you know, been a common thread through some of those situations?
I think the biggest frustration maybe in all of it is that when you go back and you watch Saturdays, 3rd and 6 or less, it was a different position group and a different person every single scenario. And I think that's maybe the most frustrating part, whether it was some version of mesh or QB draw and we fall down, or we give up a pressure when we've got a guy wide open, or we don't throw and catch when we've got 2 guys wide open. We squeeze the ball and don't let it go when we're supposed to, you know. So I think that's the most frustrating thing, is that it was somebody different every single time. Me putting us in a bad call on a 3rd and 2, where I thought was going to get man. It had been a ton of man, and it wasn't. I was wrong, and they got me on that. And so, again, it's going to start and end with me. But we got to get out of our own way in those situations. And then we've got to make some chunk plays in the run game there in the second half as well. You know, that'll help tremendously as well.
How tough is that to fix when, you know, if you're seeing the same thing, you know, on 75% of those, it's easy to say, okay, we're going to focus on this, fix it. How tough is that when you're just seeing a lot of different things, small things go wrong that don't lead to conversion?
I think as you reflect, you got to make sure that I'm putting these guys in position to go do things that they do really, really well. And so, again, it's me reflecting and making sure that that's the biggest part of it, and not having too much on them, and making sure the things that are in, we're executing cleanly and can execute versus a bunch of different looks. So that's going to be the stress.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it looked like the touchdowns to Jaleel and Drake were pretty similar calls. And if that is the case, was there something you identified there in the secondary attacking them?
Yeah, just they were both tempo calls too. The first one, obviously, to Jaleel happened a little faster than the one to Drake, but we like finding those variations and felt like that was going to be an advantage for us.
And in recruiting nowadays, it seems like there's more athletes than ever, guys who can play both sides of the ball and coming to college not certain of where they're going to play.
Right.
When it comes to you guys internally, how do those decisions get made? What are you evaluating when you bring a guy on campus not knowing exactly where he's going to play right away?
Yeah, still looking at people first. You know, we want guys that are serious about being great people and great players from a culture standpoint. And then the guys that play both sides of the ball, as you're in the middle of recruiting a couple right now, right? You want to make sure that they're the guys that want to come in here and find a way to help and find a way to make an impact. And they're not closed-minded on playing one side of the ball or the other, because I think when you get a guy on campus that you've told you're going to play at receiver the entire time, and then he plays DB. Very, very seldomly does that work in your favor. And so having guys be open-minded along with us, I think is important while recruiting them.
Far right, Justin.
Hey, Jeff. With Andrew Raymond and Wanya Morris banged up, I mean, this isn't the first time this group has been shorthanded this season.
Yeah.
What is it about this unit that continues to, I guess, find ways to still be productive even when guys are out or dealing with injuries?
Yeah, I felt like, even at the beginning of the year that we had some quality from a depth standpoint. We've needed guys to step up. Going to need guys to step up this weekend. So that's the reality of it. Obviously, Bill's done an unbelievable job with that room and that group. And we're looking for a big week out of them in Lubbock. Yeah.
Anton Harrison is the guy who's moved around, done kind of whatever is needed. I mean,
Yeah.
how much has it helped to have him there kind of anchor that?
No, that's been huge. To me, Anton's gotten better every single week. You watch him play, and the way he played week 1 in comparison to the way he's playing right now, just a lot of strain and a lot of awareness by him on things that he needed to work at that has improved him in a big way.
Any more questions for Coach Lebby? Matt?
Is there a common theme on third down over the last 2 weeks with what's not being executed? A lot of third and manageable, it seems like.
Yeah, like we were just talking about just a few minutes ago, it's the most frustrating part is that it is fallen in a lot of different areas. And so, again, that is me reflecting and saying, okay, let's make sure we're really tight from what I'm calling every single week, and putting these guys in position to go execute things very cleanly against a bunch of different pictures, and that to me is where it's got to be moving forward. I think if there's a regret, it's maybe doing a little too much, asking guys to do some different things than maybe I need to be. And that, again, it's going to start and end with me, so got to put them in better positions on third downs to go make those plays.
Can some of those third down problems be, I guess, calmed down with second down and picking up yardage there?
Yeah, of course they can, but at the same time, we've been in a lot of manageable situations. We had a lot of 3rd and 6 or less, and that, like from a self-scout standpoint, that's what you look at. And there was a ton of those situations Saturday and a ton of them 2 weeks ago, and that's where we've got to make a huge jump.
I want to ask you, how much of a difference can it be on times with snaps with Robert? I know he's different from what you get from Andrew, maybe slower pace things. And how much does it kind of move Dylan's clock a little when you're adjusting to someone else that's snapping the football?
More than you would think. We had some issues the other day, and Conjal did a really good job. He played well. We got to be cleaner from a snap standpoint, though.
Is it with the quarterback situation, though? What goes through his head?
You just want it always the same all the time. You want every snap to be the exact same. So from an operational standpoint, you're the exact same with your hands and your feet and your hips and everything that you're doing from a run game mesh standpoint. So you just want it to be the same, and we'll get there.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Real too.